Hey, welcome to Con Carolina's Television. It's Bronner here with a fantastic array of wonderful people that we will start with the actual, locals and, fan favorites, like my beautiful and lovely wife. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Um, I'm Ray. I'm over here just playing with my little grabber thing because I apparently have attention issues.
She does. And then we also have Nick. Say hi, Nick.
Hey, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk about. Does everybody know the topic? Yeah. Sure, why not? It's
Yeah,
Batman.
the
Woo!
ad out.
Woohoo. And then we this week we welcome back, of course, two very special guests. We have a award-winning author Kyoko M. Say hi, Kyoko.
Hi,
Tell us a little bit
everybody.
about yourself.
I am Kyoko M. I'm the author of the Black Parade Urban Fantasy series and the Of Cinder and Bone science fiction series. I'm also a contributor to Black Panther Tales of Wakanda by Marvel Comics and Captain America Shield of Sam Wilson, which will be out June 11th of next year. And that's me.
Hell yeah.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah is right.
Why the hell am I
Wow.
here?
All right, and then we have world famous comedian from the Big Apple.
Oof.
Hey, you're famous in my heart and in my eyes.
Yeah.
From the Big Apple, we have Ryan Andersons. Say hi.
The whole state is an apple, apparently. Yeah.
All of New
So
York
big.
is the city.
It's the Big Apple.
Hi, happy to be here. Happy to talk Batman.
You
Yay.
speak back.
Well, welcome everybody, and thanks for
Hi,
joining
Calvino
us.
and
Hey, Calvino.
Demon Starkling.
Yeah. Welcome to the chat.
Kyoko's
And,
not famous.
strap in, and we're gonna find out if everyone speaks Bat. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that YouTube skit about the Dark Knight where they're mumbling, like Batman, the Christian Bale Batman does.
Mhm.
Why do you want to kill me? That kind of thing. And he's like, "Are you speaking Bat?"
It's like, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. I can't
It's
hear you.
hilarious. If you've never seen it, you need to tune into that. It's super
Ryan's
funny.
from Gotham.
There's a
Oh,
Pete
Ryan
Holmes
is
has a
from
whole
Gotham.
series of Batman related videos, and
Yeah,
They're fun. They're fun.
very good. So, Batman. Not everyone loves him, but I certainly do. And of course, if you've
Obviously.
seen my TikTok or anything like that, you know that I have the Bat Cave. Basically, our
We
studio
are in the
is
Batcave.
yeah, our studio is just filled with Bat stuff, and I blame my wife because she just buys me everything I've ever dreamt of.
It's not just me. So here's the catch. When people find out that you are, I don't want to
Collecting
say obsessed
something
with,
or
but
obsessed, yeah.
you have a love of something, it's the easy go-to gift. So
It really is.
every birthday, every Christmas, he just adds on to it. And it's become really easy because it does have such a unique
Hey,
collection
Burger.
that, the things that he's gifted are just very unique, very cool pieces.
I have salt and pepper shakers
They
that
were made.
someone 3D printed for
Mhm.
me, and the salt is white and the pepper is black, and it's an awesome set.
Mhm.
But in any case, I digress.
So it's not just me. Okay?
Yeah,
Take all
but
the
that's
credit.
true. That's true. So let's just go around the horn, and we're going to skip Ray because she's Batman Pro by default. Uh, but like
We're not
Kyoko,
skipping Ray.
what got you into the Bat?
So, one of my earliest memories of being a kid was my parents had rented Batman Mask of the Phantasm when I was little. I I had to have been, I'm gonna guess, between 6 and 8 at the time, and I just remember this very distinct moment of me sitting in front of the TV during the scene where he's at the graveyard and he's begging his parents to let him out of the vow that he made, and it just made this huge impact on this little tiny kid who can't even at this point understand loss or so many storytelling things that I didn't understand at that age, but that image is like burned into my memory of just how I connected with him just being that little and just being like, wow, look at what this character's gone through and how it's impacted him in his life and all these different things that he wants to do. And I felt very emotional for a little
Powerful
kindergartner.
scene, yeah.
Right. And so that after that, I was set. So pretty much anything Batman related, I was an instant fan. My parents were lovely people who took me to pretty much anything that was age appropriate that I could watch for Batman. Except I was going to say, because I was born in the 90s, so I'm sorry, 88, and then I grew up in the 90s. And so the other first exposure I had, oddly enough, is Batman Forever. I'm sure I know people are hard on that movie. And
They are
to
very
be
I'm not.
fair,
No.
I still like it. I know it isn't.
Genius.
Yeah, it's just got a level of nostalgia to it but I like that at least it was in the middle. Now it did all the silly stuff that Joel Schumacher likes to do, but it did actually sit there and adapt parts of Batman's mythos and put it in the movie, even if it was very kid friendly and colorful
Right.
and certain characters didn't act the way that they're supposed to like they do in the comics. But it was such a fun time that I just can't find myself not liking that one as well. Batman and Robin is another story, but Batman Forever, I that's the other one.
Don't
I think
hate on Chris O'Donnell. Don't do that.
I hate on Chris O'Donnell
he's
so
just
bad.
so annoying, and it's not his fault. It was because the part was written like
It
that.
was written that way.
Yeah, it was
He
written
did
that way.
the
So
best
like,
he
I
could
don't
when
blame
he
him.
had.
Coupled with the fact that he really, in my opinion, doesn't have a lot of acting chops to him.
I
I mean,
feel
he's
like
beautiful to
he
look
was-
at.
I feel
He
like
was
people
very
hate on
fresh
Chris
off the boat.
O'Donnell
I don't.
Yeah.
forgetting that Alicia Silverstone was there. Like,
It's
Yeah.
only,
did he
you know,
forget that she was?
I
it's
like
tough to
her.
tell, though, in situations where
I
like
do
the script
too.
writing and the directing is just so terrible, like if it's really the
Exactly.
actor's fault or not. Because like Hayden Christensen, for example, with Anakin Skywalker, he came across totally wooden, and now he's like kicking ass in Ahsoka, and he's just very good and very talented. So I don't know if I would blame Chris O'Donnell for Joel Schumacher.
I was gonna say
That-
there's only a
that's
certain
fair.
amount of
Yeah.
fair that you can. I'm sorry, an amount of blame that you can give them when again the script was terrible, the directing was even worse. It was just a farce start to finish. But Batman Forever, it was like it was at least it was manageable. Like all the silly stuff was still silly, but it still managed to tell this a decent or at least entertaining story. So I would say those
Right.
two things are really what
Plus,
got me
it
started.
had
on
a
with
really
Batman.
wonderful supporting cast, as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
It was
And Drew
definitely brilliant.
Barrymore has a very bit part.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I'm
really
all-
weird.
And yeah, I
she
found
was
Nicole
like
Kidman was
already
wonderful.
iconic, but she had a tiny part, right?
Mhm.
That's fine with me.
All right. So, what about you, Ryan? How did you come to love
Brings
the
you
bat?
to the back.
I was born in the Bat shadows. I was trying to go for a Bane line and I flubbed it real bad. But what's the line? You merely live in the shadows. I was born there, or whatever.
Mm.
But
Yeah, oh yeah.
no, like one of the first things I was ever given to read was a Batman comic. Back when the animated series first was introduced back in the early 90s, like Batman and Spider-Man comics based off the animated series for both were like my first books, and my parents insist that I taught myself to read so I could understand what was happening better. Like the pictures really helped, but I wanted to know what the words meant. And like they say that I helped teach myself to read, and I'm like that doesn't sound right at all. But that's a thing that they continue to say to this day. But no, I've loved it since the animated series. Kevin Conroy is still the voice of Batman in my head anytime I read anything.
Yup.
Like Bender agrees with me.
Bad cat.
Yeah, she has watched a lot of Batman movies over my shoulder. I really liked I stuck more with the comic books than the movies. Like I came back to the movies later. Mask of the Phantasm was another great one. I remember seeing that
Love
in
it.
theaters, like going on Christmas Eve or whatever it was, because it was something to do that we were at a mall and we needed to kill time and we were able to go see a Batman movie. It was so cool.
And they actually put it back in theaters for the anniversary, and that's when I got to see it. Because at the time that it came out, like I said, I was probably really small, and so when
Yeah.
they re-released it, that getting to see those gorgeous visuals and all that wonderful
It was a
dialogue, like in a theater,
beautiful movie.
it was so good. It was so good.
I mean, let's break it down. I mean, I'm a big fan of the movies, all the movies and stuff, but really the animated stuff is really where it's at, as far as I'm concerned. Um, it just blows me away. Even like Nerdburger was pointing out, like that Dana Delaney was, the voiced in Mask of the Phantasm, but she also went on to do Lois Lane, so it kind of kickstarted her voiceover career, and that kind of stuff is really cool to me because I think she's really an amazing actress and has done a lot of great things. But the animated stuff to me is like the quintessential Batman stuff, which probably just generates itself from the comic books, right? Because I'm so used to the comic book.
Feels more like the
Right.
comic has come to life.
Right. Not that
Even
the
though
live
it's less
action
real.
is not wonderful in its own right. I just the animated stuff just blows me away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I think it is like the quintessential take from Batman the Animated Series, especially. It's just like when I think of like what is Batman, what is his villains, Gotham City, the whole feel of it. That's kind of where I go to too, is like the main source. I think that a lot of that though also comes from the fact that it had the benefit of years and years of comics that it could pull from. And comics, as with any form of serial fiction, there's going to be like really good arcs, and then there's going to be some that are crap.
For sure.
And when you're making an animated series, you're going to discard the bad, you're going to hold on to the good. But it also introduced so many elements that were so fantastic that they later made their way into the comics, like Mr. Freeze's origin and Harley. Like, and revamping other characters, even if they kind of went with the comic book origins, the way that they told them and how they executed their story, just the dramatic tension, so much better.
And yeah, Mark Hamill is the Joker, which is
I'm going to go out on a limb
Again.
here. And
Still the best Joker.
Again, yeah.
I'm going to
sure.
say that Batman has sparked the career of more villains than any other superhero.
We just lost Arlie Sorkin too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say when we got to that part of our show tonight, it was gonna be tough for me. I cried that entire weekend.
Yeah,
I cried like I lost my best friend. It was so hard.
But I mean, if you look at it, the villains from Batman are more iconic than any other superhero villains ever.
It's probably, I was going to say, if someone did like a poll, I think they might be the most recognized out of all of those.
Absolutely. You've got, Harley, the Joker, Penguin, just unlimited.
And just the different, like, I don't know. I mean, just the wide range of villains that he has come in contact with. And sure, there's like the nemesis, right? But I mean, like Mr. Freeze, especially in the TV animated series, right? Super dope, right? I loved him in that, right? But I also loved Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'm just
did too,
right? But I'm just saying that
I won't even front. There'll be times I'm in my house by myself and I just go, "The Ice Age," because like that line was so funny. Like just his line reads were absurd, but it worked. It was so funny. I was cracking up the whole time, like not intentionally, but he would just say these lines so ridiculously that I just can't help it. Like I'll just mutter lines from that movie.
I love that. But the villains are like you say, are just as iconic as the Bat himself, as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of people that love the villains more so than the hero in the stories. So that's crazy to me, but how could you not like Batman more?
I mean, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are prime examples. Like,
she's a Harley girl and a Harley world.
Because even though Bronner said that I didn't get a turn because I'm not allowed to be a fan. I'm only a fan because he is, of course. No. I'm just joking. No. We're gonna put a squash to that.
Okay, squash it.
We're gonna squash that right now because as every red-blooded American woman does, I saw red flags and I ran headfirst towards Batman. Batman is a walking red flag.
Oh yeah.
100%.
I found
No,
out something
honestly,
today.
I say it in jest, but it's one of the things that started drawing me to the character because as somebody that grew up in a very tumultuous childhood, to see a character on the screen that wasn't just like happy-go-lucky, he had issues, he's working things out. Because I did find Batman on the screen, cartoon. That's what started. I was a '90s kid. We lost Ryan. Where'd he go?
Disappeared.
Come
Yeah,
back, Ryan. Anywho,
there he is.
there he
Yeah,
is. We
maybe-
found him. That's what started. That opened the gates for me, and then I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole. And the farther you fall down that rabbit hole, the darker Batman gets. The storyline, the emotions, and it was nice to see a hero that didn't portray himself as a hero. He was conflicted. He had his morals, but he had his own demons to fight, his own battles within himself, and he was very human compared to some of the other comic heroes. And that's something
Especially coming out of the DC camp.
that's something that
Super fantastical people, right?
I think draws most people to Batman is his human aspect to him. He fights to do the right thing because doing the wrong thing would be easy, but he fights to do the right thing. And
Yeah,
then
I'm sorry.
I found Harley, and it was all over from there. So I love Batman
Girl
because
crush.
of Harley.
No, I was gonna say I really love that moment in Under the Red Hood where he's like, all I want to do is kill the Joker, but I wake up every day and don't do it because I know if I kill him, I'm gonna kill the rest of them. It's just an avalanche situation of like, oh well, that worked perfectly. He can't hurt anybody anymore, so I'm just gonna wipe people out. But it's such a heavy and beautiful moment of just acknowledging that, like, yeah, unfortunately, every person he kills is on me because I don't kill this piece of crap. But at the same time, like, you understand the reason why because he's right. It's just it would because Gotham would be running red with blood if I
Right.
just decided that I'm gonna kill every single person. In
Once you
one
start,
go.
where do you stop?
There's gonna
And
be
yes,
stop.
Calvino, head first, on fire, on fire.
What I was going to say earlier was I found out something today that I did not realize, but it makes more sense now that I know it, is that Gotham is supposed to be set in New Jersey.
Yes, it is.
And if you think about Bruce
That makes
Wayne
sense.
as a New Jersey rich kid, like that kind of twists, like,
That makes a
oh, I
little bit
can
of
see
sense.
how angry he is. Okay, that makes a little
I mean,
more
they're
sense.
all angry.
Grew up in New Jersey.
They have a lot of
Like-
fights at laundromats. That
I'd be
makes a lot
angry
of
too in
sense.
New Jersey.
Wait, so he's a Jersey boy?
Yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's
got
going to
him.
the Jersey Shore, like Sean said.
Yeah, no, Jersey Shore.
GTL.
Holly.
Just picture Batman on the street facing Two-Face. Come at me, bro.
Right. Right.
Oh no.
Bruce, we don't want you wearing those clothes. It makes our brand look bad.
Oh man, I'm never gonna be able.
But
to watch
wait,
the
I'm sorry.
Batman
You mean
movie
he's
the
not?
same.
They're not across the street from Metropolis.
They are, and
They were
Metropolis
right
is
across.
supposed to be in Delaware, I believe.
I
And
think
where's
that
Star
is-
City
I
supposed to be?
I don't remember. I know that Central City is in Missouri,
Oh,
Yeah,
which is
and
not
That
where
makes
I.
sense.
Metropolis
Sounds
and
about right.
Delaware,
Central.
Gotham
Yeah.
and New Jersey, but aren't they positioned in such a way where they're actually like really close to each other? Like,
Well, if you put them on a map,
They're
it
across
forms
the-
a pentagram. I'm just kidding.
But they're across a body of water from each other, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you start chanting, you raise the ultimate villain, and then they all fight him. So that's cool.
I have people just texting me, giving me Batman stuff, like sending me pictures. Say, hey, do you want this? It was a Batmobile. I'm like, 100%.
Like
Is that
doing
right?
right now.
Is that a real question? Yeah, they're doing it as
Is that Ray or Shane?
That's pretty cool.
No, it's Amber.
Oh, okay.
Hey, maybe you
I'm
could get
s-
that $400 Batmobile Lego set that you're looking for.
No, stop pushing the Lego set. I have a budget.
No, we don't.
He's
It's
spoiled to the budget.
right. I have to get my own Batmobile. It's called a mobility scooter.
Oh, sweet.
But I'm gonna get it pimped like the Batmobile.
You
Trust
should
me.
get it decorated.
Slap
Yeah.
some wings on it. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking I will hold off on that till
Sean, don't
after
you dare.
Christmas and then
Don't you
get my
dare.
Lego Batman stuff.
Do not set up a GoFundMe for that, Sean.
Does anybody like the Adam West Batman? Because I have to backtrack a
do.
little bit and
So-
be like, that's also what I grew up with.
So I'll
was
give
the-
you. I that one was a really funny one. So I would had to be somewhere between 11 and 13
I'll
years
get it.
old, and I don't know what I was flipping channels, and I stop and I go, "Is that
What the
some
hell's
old
even
guy
that?
dressed as Batman? Who's that guy?" And I stop, and it turns out it's the movie. So you know the one with the back shark repellent.
Bat
but-
shark repellent.
Back shark repellent. So again, at this point, I'm about 11,
Great
somewhere between
memes.
11 and 13. I have never seen Adam West before in my life. And so I run into my parents' room and I go, "What the heck is this?" And they go, "Oh, that's Adam West."
That's Adam
And
West.
so for the next hour, I just kept running into their room to tell them every ridiculous thing that happened in the movie as I'm laughing hysterically because I was like, what in God's name is this? So that was my first exposure to Adam West. I had absolutely never heard of it before. And I loved it. It was ridiculous, but in a good way.
I found out me and Adam West shared a birthday, and that's how I knew I was destined for greatness.
Oh, good.
There you go.
And
You know-
yeah, that I used to watch that movie all the time as a kid, and it was so unlike Batman in the comics that I did not really connect the two.
Didn't
that
gravitate,
was supposed to be
yeah.
a interpretation of Batman.
The only I hated it. I mean, let me be honest.
Yeah, he did not like it.
Not my. I mean,
For somebody
comparatively
that has
speaking.
a signed picture of Adam West and Burt Ward, he doesn't like Adam West.
Okay, let me clarify this by saying that I appreciate the show for what it was. I love camp, so I loved it for that aspect of it. But I don't think Batman should be silly on any note.
It's
mean, that's just-
unintentional parody. Like it is fantastic unintentional
Mm.
parody to watch it and see how
Yeah.
silly and ridiculous it is. And I also like Miyoko. I also or Kyoko, sorry. I had the same. My first exposure to it was that movie with the stupid shark repellent bat spray. I can still see like one of them tied to a buoy, and it's like, "Quick, get me the shark repellent bat spray." And I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I just again, I so distinctly remember him hanging from the helicopter and the shark is like gnawing on his leg.
The very
Just
fake
like,
foam
what?
shark.
Big old
Yes.
foam shark, the fakest shark.
I
I've
fell
ever
in.
seen.
I fell into Batman completely out of order, and I think the reason like I accept Adam West is because I found Batman Forever before I watched Adam West, and so it was just much easier to appreciate the silly.
I can
so
see
I
that.
enjoyed it.
Also, I just love the line. Some days you
just
can't get rid of a bomb. Yeah, like I don't like words tattooed, but I've considered for a long time getting that tattooed.
That's wonderful.
That'd be
Well,
great.
and believe
would
it or
be a
not,
tattoo.
as ridiculous as Adam West was, the 1940s Batman is 100 times worse.
It's
Mhm.
awful.
It's
it's-
awful. Oh, it's so
I
funny.
can't.
I mean,
I have a
impossible not-
book. I have a book that has all of the old serials, all of them, like from start to finish, and I can't crack the book.
Oh no, I was talking about the live action like miniseries they did.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have-
I'm even
it's-
talking about the
DVD of it.
serials.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
they're so bad. It's delightful. You have got to watch it. They're so terrible. I mean, because again, you can tell there's no budget. There was like no fight choreography. The plot made no sense. The villain was super obvious. Like, oh, it's
They just
delightful.
said,
So
okay,
so
we're
it was
rolling.
kind of like Spider-Man on what was that show? It was like the Electric Company, and it was the Spider-Man skits during that.
Oh.
Does anyone remember that?
I know what you're talking
Nerdburger
about.
will remember it. I
Now
think.
I'm sure
thinking
I'll
about
know what you're talking
Japanese
about.
Spider-Man,
I know what
which
the
is
electric
amazing.
company is.
Huh? You don't know what the electric? It's
No,
kind
I
of like
do know
Sesame
what the
Street.
electric
Yeah,
company is. But
and they ran every week. They ran a Spider-Man skit, but it was exactly like what you're talking about. It was just no like rhyme or reason
awful.
about it.
Oh, is that so? Is that the older animated Spider-Man before the one we got in the 90s? Is that one, or is that a different?
There was it was live action.
It was just a skit.
Oh, okay, got you. So no, I
Mhm.
don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, and it was horribly put together.
That's a lot of those old super. I mean, before they had the technology to make it work, some of them turned out absolutely.
Yeah, see, he knows. The Spider-Man didn't speak
Yeah.
in the electric company.
Yeah, he had no voice. He used to mime stuff out so people would learn.
So y'all have homework. Look that up when we get off stream so that you can enjoy that.
Was the
Right?
electric company one the same as the Japanese Spider-Man, or am I?
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
was-
thought of too. I thought of the Japanese.
It was
Spider-Man.
on with like
Leo Pardon. He has a Zord that he goes inside of, and Doctor Doom is his villain, but he looks very much like he's out of Power Rangers.
This was more like with Speed Racer and Ultraman and on all. It was like on public access.
Yeah.
And although those shows were on public access, Giant Robot. Did I say that already? Yeah. So that's where I, began to
Encountered
become a
Spider-Man.
nerd. That's where that's how I grew up. And became fascinated with science fiction, fantasy, and superheroes. So
what I remember clearly from that Japanese Spider-Man is that one line of like, "I am the emissary of death, Spider-Man."
Yes.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, Spider-Man, you're not supposed to be killing people.
Was he the emissary of death or hell or something like
he,
that?
he said no.
Yeah.
He said the emissary of death. I was like, what? That's pretty dire, Spidey. I thought you're supposed to punch people and make little funny
Damn.
lines.
right,
Okay.
little
That escalated
one-liners.
quickly.
So, there we go.
So talk about the live action. What is your, all-time favorite live action movie?
I mean, Dark Knight.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'll be boring and pick The Dark Knight probably. Now, I do really like Batman Begins, and I'm one of the people who doesn't hate Dark Knight Rises, and everybody shits on it, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I see the problems, but it just wasn't enough to make me not enjoy it. I'm sorry.
Right.
But I was gonna say, yeah, to me, I think that it just encapsulated. And that's why I have no interest in the rest of DC live action Batman things. Because to me, it just encapsulated everything I wanted in a Batman story. And I just, it's going to be so hard for me to accept anyone else in the role because I was like, I'm sorry. I just think I don't think we're ever going to do better in terms of getting all of the stuff that I think he represents in a short form, 2.5 hour movie. I think that it's never going to be more accurate or include all of the elements of hope and all those things. Because I get very frustrated with DC now of this whole idea of, no, the Dark Knight only made money because it was gritty and realistic. No, it wasn't. All of those movies were about him believing in Gotham City enough to make that sacrifice, that he thought those people were worth it and that they were worth protecting and were dying for. I mean, as far as he was concerned. So it wasn't about this hopeless. Yeah, it wasn't a hopeless story about, dark things and this and that. No, the grittiness helped because it looked cool and it really worked well with the mood and the atmosphere and stuff, but that's not what it was about. So
it was about
I just
hope.
think that.
But it felt like my favorite arc of the comics, which is the Frank Marshall arc. It felt dark and gritty and, where he wasn't the perfect Batman, but that's what made him perfect to me, or along those lines. But I understand that what I'm about to say is going to be very, very controversial.
Oh boy, here we go. We're getting canceled. We're getting canceled.
Besides the Michael Keaton Batman, I think the Batman, the recent endeavor, is my favorite. I'm
The
sorry.
Matt Reeves one?
That's not that controversial. It was a good movie.
It's not.
Yeah.
I really think it was a great movie.
It was a very split audience. It's split. You find people that agree with you, and then you find people that absolutely 100% shit on it.
I liked it a great deal. The parts I was awake for. It was just so long that I did fall asleep.
No, you're not wrong, because my sis
called
me after she saw it and she was like, yeah, that was too long. Now it wasn't, she enjoyed it, but she told me that specifically. She was like, Yeah, I got that. I want to check my watch moment a
I
couple
mean,
times.
I can't get enough. Plus, I mean, I'm the kind of guy that has watched the extended version of the Justice League,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
director's
like
cut,
20 times. Yeah, the director's
like
cut.
the 4.5 hour long version.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's version.
I will say that the new Batman, the Matt Reeves version,
Love
it does
it.
a thing that some movies do, where like it definitely ended, but then it didn't. Like it got to the end, like they dealt with the Riddler, movie was
Right.
over, and then it was like, no, we need to. It's a big blockbuster. We have to end on an action set piece, so it kind of keeps going. And it wasn't a bad action set piece, but I really kind of felt like it didn't add a whole lot to the movie. It was just kind of like, oh, here's action for the sake of action.
Oddly enough, that's the only part of The Dark Knight that I didn't like. I always stop the movie as soon as the Joker starts laughing when he's hanging upside down because I just got so sad. Like I liked that Harvey Dent's death meant something and it kicked off the plot to the next movie. But I was just so sad that we only got to enjoy him that one film. Well, same as Heath Ledger, unfortunately. But I
Right.
was just let down that he died at the end because I was like, that was such a well-developed relationship and the conflict and
Yeah.
setting up things that when he finally, goes off the deep end, you genuinely feel bad about what happened to him. And so I skip the ending when I rewatch it because I just feel, I don't know, I just feel terrible. I really wanted to see a little bit more of that Harvey Dent performance from him because I thought it was some of Aaron Eckhart's best work, and he's already a phenomenal.
It
actor.
felt like they were setting something
Eckhart's
up.
great.
And I don't know if maybe something fell through. It felt like they were setting that up for that character.
Yeah, I had hoped that when he fell, he just got knocked out. He wasn't dead. But then the next movie starts with the time jump, and it confirms he was, and it
Right.
just it
The
broke my
funeral
heart.
and yeah.
It
And
did
that
feel
I
like
think that was a miss
for
Yeah.
a
on their
character
part.
that ends up dying at the very end, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that kind of sucks. Like, but I guess I can appreciate maybe that it's not formulaic because like the obvious thing to do would have been like to have him develop, and then at the end of the movie they showcase like they take the bandages off, and now he's Two-Face, and it's like, oh, now he's in for the third one. But also, like, yeah, it did feel kind of bad to just lose him right at the very end.
I was gonna say, no, I think the writing is definitely where it should have been. And again, like I said, I like that it wasn't just done gratuitously. It fully sets up all the events in the next movie. But it, like I said, it was more oh man, I really like that performance.
Right.
And I'm just sad that I won't get to see it again. That's all.
I have nothing to back this up. I just my own headcanon is like everybody who worked on it was sad about losing Heath and couldn't come see themselves coming back, so they just kind of time jumped and wrote him out. But I totally would have thought that he would have lived, or like they definitely could have made a thing that Two-Face could have continued on, but they went the other way with it.
Yeah. And probably because it was going to always be a trilogy. He wasn't going to do a franchise or anything like that. So, and that could have been why. Yeah.
True. But now think about this, right? So you know how in The Dark Knight Rises, there's that scene where the Scarecrow has become the new judge? Imagine if that had been Two-Face handing out justice. That would be so much better and make way more sense than the Scarecrow doing it.
Yes, I would have liked that a lot. I agree.
Although I did love the Scarecrow character in that.
He was so sassy. That's what I loved about it. He was just the stank that he put on that cowboy.
Right?
It was fun.
And it stems from him being an amazing actor, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I love him in pretty much everything he's ever done. But yeah, I don't mind it that much. But I could see what you're saying, Nick, and that had Two-Face written all over it.
It just would have been you have a
brought it full
judge,
circle,
you take a former attorney who flips a coin literally to decide people's fate and put him in that situation, and imagine him up there on the stand with the coin flipping it and like choosing who lives and who dies.
I mean, that's in the comics. I think that's also in the animated series too.
I was gonna say the one where they put Batman on trial, which is still. I was so elated when I saw a Tumblr post that went by and it was starting to get some steam and some popularity because people had never seen that episode before. And I love the bit where I think the lawyer said, "No, I remember. I think it was somebody leans over to the Joker and says, "I want that stricken from the record." And Joker goes, "We're supposed to be writing this down." And so all the people in the comments are absolutely floored laughing because they've never seen it before. I love that episode. Was so good. It was so absurd. Like, and like I love the lawyer when the camera cuts to her and she's like, I'm sorry, but the witness is influencing the
nervous.
judge, and the camera turns around, and like Harley's sitting in the Joker's lap, and he's like
Yeah.
holding her, and she's like playing with his face. It was so much fun. That was a
I
great
mean, it's
episode.
you just totally
don't-
made me. I do
Don't get me
dialysis
started on
treatments
Peaky
every day,
Blinders.
right? And it takes hours, and I'm always struggling to find something. And you've made my mind up for me. I am going to watch everything from start to finish, and I have them all. Trust me. I mean, I've got them for gifts, and so from start to finish, and I'm going to revisit every single one of them more so than I've already have. But
Right.
I'm going to do it now because
Here we go.
here we go. Is right. Okay, so Nerdburger in the chat is like, what about Super Friends?
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So I got to watch a little bit of it when I was a kid, but it wasn't on very much. So I'm kind of faintly aware. It was very funny to me when JLU went back and put the Wonder Twins into that episode. That did make me laugh. I was like, that was very cute of them to like give him a little nod there.
Right.
Especially since the water guy was like, he isn't useless, but he's just not nearly as cool as his sister. So like that little moment where he tries to shoot water Aquaman and he just lifts an eyebrow. He's like, King of the Seas?
Yes. Speaking
Oh,
of,
Why would that work on me? And then he just kind of slaps him. It was so embarrassing.
now that you have brought up that JLU episode, oh my gosh, there's been something that has bothered me for the longest time about that, which is that like in that episode where they do have the Wonder Twins, the Zan and Jaina, they synergize their powers in a really what would be an effective way, which is one fills a room with water and the other one turns into a shark. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Except they use it against Aquaman, which is like the one dude you don't do that to.
Yes, you guys could have picked any other hero and they'd have
Yeah.
trouble.
Right?
You pick
You
the
made
guy who
him more
swims and
powerful.
talks to animals. That was some bad luck on their part.
Yep.
But,
All right, Calvino's asking, what is everyone's favorite animated Batman series? I think I've said what it is.
Hands
I-
down. Nostalgic
I-
from the 90s.
I was gonna say I would have to say Batman the animated series, but I really like what JLU did with Batman. He really had some excellent. I love that people put compilations together too, just because I'll just go and watch and be like, God, I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
My favorite though for me is the Injustice Gang episode, just because he intentionally got himself captured just to completely dissolve their group from the inside. That is the funniest thing in my mind of just Bruce being like. This is some old bullshit. All right, let me just give it. All right, I'm not dealing with this. I'm just gonna break this entire gang apart before you guys even get started. This is absurd. It's like he was just watching them and being like, "This is so unprofessional. I'm gonna wreck it."
It's got to be the animated series. The 90s, that's nostalgic right there.
It is, but
Has to be.
I do feel like we've got to spread some love for Batman Beyond.
Oh
yeah.
God!
Beyond
Oh God!
was also
The only reason I
fantastic.
haven't brought it up is I'm such a huge fan that it's disgusting, and I don't want to freak you all out.
Oh, please,
Like,
I am enormous Batman Beyond. I was there the premiere. I remember being 10 years old, sitting when it premiered on January 10th, 1999. That was me.
Am I the
I
only
Lifetime
one
show.
that wanted the Matt Reeves Batman to be Batman Beyond? Especially with what they cast it.
I mean, I get that, but I just
I
feel like they
wanted
would
it.
mess it up so bad that I actually don't want an adaptation. I adore
Yeah.
Terry so much that I don't want an
Yeah.
adaptation because I think they're just going to mess it up. I really think that they're either going to make him whiny or he'll be like an angst muffin. I mean, he was already a little bit of an angst muffin, but it wasn't that bad. It just, I can't see them doing it right. I really can't. I mean, but that was the thing. So they were saying before all the stuff happened with Discovery and Zaslav and things. Originally, they were going to do a Batman Beyond movie, and Michael Keaton was going to be that. That's why they introduced him in the Flash. But then, like I said, the whole universe is going away, so it got canned. So, but I honestly, I was kind of relieved.
Kind of glad about that.
Yeah.
I don't trust the way that Hollywood works to not be overly indulgent with that and like go too hard on the CGI, too hard on the action, and lose track of the fact that there are so many elements that are foundational to Batman that they managed to keep alive in that show. And yes, it is set in a massive futuristic, cyber dystopia,
Neo-noir.
but it still feels like Batman, and they don't
It
lose part
does.
of that.
100%.
It was such a good blend of old and new. To me, it was exactly in the middle. They knew just enough.
It was an
elements.
upgrade.
It
I mean,
was.
it was literally an upgrade.
Done
I
right.
loved it.
Because
So, Nerdburger had mentioned Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Oh yes.
I was going to bring that up.
Were you?
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
I love the animated series, and I love how the JLU episodes tied in the animated and Batman Beyond together. But there are some moments in Brave and the Bold that legitimately made me cry, like with joy and just like real emotion out. Like they pulled something. Like Diedrich Bader's Batman is just such a hopeful Batman,
He was so fun.
and like the interactions with Booster Gold, and like they do that like time hopping episode that's very interesting.
I can't get over the Birds of Prey song because every time I hear it, I was like, what were the censors doing and how much did you pay them to let you make this song? It was the most child inappropriate thing that I've seen since a year. But I loved it. I know all the words still. It was so hysterical. But I love the Aquaman. Like they kind of salvaged Aquaman because Aquaman gets a lot of a bad rap between the Super Friends and just all these other things. So like the gritty version, some people like it, some people don't. But that one, it was like everybody unanimously agreed he was amazing. Like just boisterous and ridiculous and just loud and fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I
where is he?
loved it too. That might have been my favorite portrayal of Aquaman. Just making him this like the glorious hero of like legend and lore, and he was all into it. Like kind of reminded me of some portrayals of Hercules, which was fun. You know.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
And yeah, in the ambush bug episode is probably the keystone to all that. Like the thing with the Brave and the Bold was it took a while to get to where they were doing like meaningful things. A lot of it was very much filler and just exploring some stuff that they hadn't shown before, which was cool, like a lot of Plastic Man and whatever.
Yeah, they like Nerdburger was saying that they did give a really proper influx of villains from the comics. So that was.
I love Music Meister. That was another one. No, I didn't get to finish the whole show. It's on my watch list to finish, but I think I got to somewhere between 1 and 2. But I remember that episode, and as soon as I saw Neil Patrick Harris, I was like, "We are in for a good time." That man can sing his heart out. It was
that came out like around the same time as,
and he can act, and he can sing, and he's got great timing, and he's clever.
Dr.
Good casting.
Fantastic.
Great casting. And there seems
really well.
a theme about great casting when it comes to Batman. I mean, as far as with the exception of Adam West and Burt Ward, they can do no wrong to me.
Although I don't remember if Andrea Romano was she? Do you remember if she cast? She did. Okay, cool.
Yeah, she worked on all the Batman properties from 1989 to early 2000 or mid 2000s.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she didn't retire until I think recently. But that I have to give a shout out to her. That she was on it. Her ear for voices was amazing. She cast everybody so well.
That's awesome.
Oh, Calvino, Batman Year One animated movie was his top favorite.
That was the one with the dude from the OC as Batman, I think. I
haven't seen it in a long time. It wasn't bad though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, out of the movies, I think one of my favorites is Dune. I really enjoyed Dune. Probably because it got a lot of the JL veterans back to voice the characters, but it also was just a quick story. I really
and there's some really quick stories like that, like Hush. I mean, I really loved. There's some great ones. Even Batman Ninja was amazing to me because I love feudal Japan, and I love the fact that
those things. It's like there's a Batman for everybody. There's, if you like the goofy Batman, you can go play with Adam West. If you like feudal Japan, you watch Ninja Batman. There's a Batman for everybody.
Yes.
But we would not do a Batman episode justice if we did not talk about everyone's favorite Bat villain.
Oh, that's pretty.
Wonder Man?
What?
You said everyone's favorite. Obviously, everyone fan favorite character, Calendar Man. Everybody knows all about him.
Calendar Man is pretty great,
Here.
but
Oh, you're adorable, love. Here, I've got the one in the car. I've got the Lego one. Look.
Kids love Maxie Zeus. They're huge fans of Maxie Zeus.
It's not my favorite, but
oh, Maxie.
The Lego Joker.
everybody's favorite. So Joker's yours?
I would say so.
Is Joker's yours because of the Heath Ledger?
No. Far from it.
performance? Okay, just making sure
I
because
think
he almost.
This
snuck
is
in there.
why.
Like
I feel
his
like
performance
So
really elevated that villain for me. It took it to a whole new level. I saw it in a whole new light, and he cranked up the ranks there. And as much. Oh, Lord, have
love
mercy. He's playing with his toys over there.
would it be possible?
Yeah, I
As
agree.
much-
I really love what he did with that part. It was because I loved it because it wasn't all just scary Joker. Like he still sprinkled in some like absurd moments. I can't get over the pencil trick. Oh my god!
Love that.
Because I was like, if there's one thing, if you needed to explain to someone who the Joker is in one scene, it's the
Right.
pencil scene.
Right.
Because
That whole sequence of events. during
Yes!
that was amazing.
It was but I just love it because I remember being in the theater and you see him put the pencil down and you're like, what the hell is he doing? And then he does it. And I just remember this shocked laughter that came out of me and everybody in the audience. Because again, you weren't expecting it.
No.
What the hell is he gonna do? And then he does it and you're like, oh my God.
There's
It's
a
magic.
moment of silence in that theater because everybody has to go. Did I just watch what I think I
Right?
watched?
Yeah, it was just this great moment of just pure. I'm sorry, did I see that right? Oh my, because it's
And then
not
it
funny, but it is.
Oh,
Right.
damn.
I still laugh every time I see the scene with the fire truck on fire.
All right.
Ah.
And just like
You-
fire truck.
As soon as you saw that, you went, oh, okay, there he is.
Mhm.
Yep, only he
Right.
would light a fire truck on fire.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I agree because like to me, it was such a good blend of like all the best parts of the Joker for me, and just coupled with. I don't know. There's just so many. I can't even
Making it.
pick a favorite moment. I really just
Yeah.
think that
I'm
all of
supposed to
that.
kill the bus
So-
driver.
So right.
Yeah. Oh, the opening sequence.
That's
Man.
fantastic. So as much as like I'm not a Joker fan, I'm a Heath Ledger's Joker.
No, Mark Hamill.
That's,
I love them both equally. I don't know
Mhm.
if many people other people do that, but I love them both like equally.
I mean, I love them both, but I love Mark Hamill more.
oh yeah, you do.
He's had more time with it. He has the
Yes.
video games. He has the
Yes, for
Cartoons.
sure.
Well, again, and Mask of the Phantasm was a showing of him that I just can't get over. Like every line was on point in that movie. He was just saying the most ridiculously awful things, and it was so. The fact that he couldn't pick up the cleaver and hits her with the thing of baloney. Just you can't beat comedy like that. It was just so great.
Even though I'm a Harley
It's
girl.
leaving Netflix, Sean, so gotta do that.
Oh,
soon,
right. Go
unless
get
you
go
don't
get
have
your
it.
next watch in
Hey-
before
hey,
it's
Brian.
gone.
What?
Who's my
Yes,
favorite
you should
Bat
spend some
villain?
time on Harley, just because same thing. I in no way thought when I was a 10-year-old or however old I was when that show was on, that I would love her as much as I absolutely do. What a wonderful character. And
I
so
love her.
unexpected. It
I
just-
love her as a character.
Mm.
She's not my favorite Bat villain.
Really?
You know, and every time I tell you, I'm gonna say it, and he's gonna go, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah, you love Bane.
I love
Well,
Bane.
because Bane is great. Can we
Bane is
please at
fantastic.
some point get an accurate Bane? Now,
Bane,
don't get me
yes.
wrong. I actually
Please.
really like Tom Hardy. I
Tom
love
Hardy
that
did
love
an
Tom
okay
Hardy.
job.
It
Yeah.
was phenomenal, but I'm still at like, all right, we've got like 3 or
Let's-
4 Banes, and he's still not
And-
South American in a luchador match
Right.
anyway.
Right.
Right.
Yes, which is I honestly pretty ridiculous, you know. But also like Ra's al Ghul, we haven't gotten like a Middle Eastern Ra's al Ghul. We got
Yes.
a
Yes,
really
we do
white
need that
Liam
as well.
Neeson.
Yes. I did.
But
And
we
again,
have-
same thing. I like the people that they chose, but when we go next round, I'm like, okay, I just would like them
Mhm.
to be the ethnicity that they are in the comic. That would make me happy, please.
Let's represent them correctly.
Yes.
I think
that
the
would be nice.
DCU's getting
Someone
there.
said
Like,
Dwayne Johnson is Bane.
Oh
No,
well,
no.
I mean, if he keeps the mask on, you don't know he's an Islander,
No.
so it's fine. He brown. I'm just
Bane?
kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm
I'm gonna say
thinking
something
about that
mean.
one.
Bane is actually intelligent. So
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
don't have Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh no! What?
Dwayne's
stupid.
intelligent.
Damn! Shots fired.
Shots
He's
fired.
smart.
The Rock is stupid. You heard it here first, people. The
Right.
Rock is stupid.
But the best
No,
movie he
he's
was
one
in
of the
was the
smartest
Jumanji
people.
remake / sequel, and even then it played
Negative.
to his strengths, which is that he's not a great actor, and that's okay. You just have him do minimal dialogue
What's-
and then do the cool action sequences.
I vehemently
You're gonna
disagree
have
with
him
that.
do
I was gonna say
Like-
I would say the rundown for me. That to me, it was just right for him. He was nice and snarky. He got to beat people up. It wasn't too much dialogue. It was just a nice cut movie, nice
Like a balance.
90 minute.
Ballers. Boom. That's it.
My dad likes that show.
There's
It's a
a
good show.
there's a movie, I can't remember the name of it, but he plays a dude who wants to be a singer, but has to be like a
Be
thug.
cool. Be
Be Cool.
cool is my
Yeah.
shit. No one's heard of it and nobody watched it but me and my parents. But I love that movie.
I
and it
love
was
that.
so
Is that
good.
John Travolta?
That is one of
Yes.
his best performances
Yeah.
ever.
It was because it was so outside of anything he's ever done before. He played this absolutely flamboyant gay guy, and he was a bouncer, but he wanted to be an actor / singer, and it was hysterical because he committed himself to every last part of it, and it was just hilarious. But like I said, I know that one is an acquired taste.
Everyone's talking about the Rock's movies in the chat. They're like, Penning Game.
Oh, that's true. I have heard people say my brother likes that one because he said they just went full like.
We
dumb.
like San
It's-
Andreas.
Mhm.
Even though it's like every other movie in the world, that's a disaster movie.
I was gonna say
But-
it was
It's so good.
pretty standard.
Pretty cookie
disaster.
cutter.
We watched San Andreas, and I called my mom. She's still living back in California. And was like,
Said,
"Get
"Move.
out,
Move.
now, get out now."
You need to
I
move
did
now.
love
He's
reading
gonna
that they were
fall
like-
off into the ocean.
Right. There's no such thing as a 10.0 though. They were like, that's
Yeah.
not possible. The entire
That's
Earth would like
a
shatter.
world destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a world destroying. It would not happen, but it does crack me up that they were like, yeah, whatever. I mean, if we
Speaking-
can have Roland Emmerich insist that the moon will fall out of the sky.
Okay.
Speaking of
Oh no, the worst movie ever. It's so bad and so
Moonfall was.
wonderful.
I didn't watch it, but I know enough about it. Of like, I can't believe he even got it funded. Like you had to write on that sheet of paper. The moon is actually a superstructure of ancient aliens, and it turned on them, and then it became evil. So then the moon falls
Come
out of
here,
orbit, so it
Fabio.
can kill everybody. I was like, oh my god.
With a star inside of it that would have literally melted all of the people.
And
when
it's
they
the wrong
interact with
size. The white
Right.
dwarf that's inside of it is the wrong size. It wouldn't have any characteristics of what you said. It was just, it's like he decided all of the scientific inaccuracies in all my other movies, I need to outdo them all.
Outdo
in
it, yeah.
single
I'm gonna
film.
one up this. He said,
Yeah, he
"Hold my
went up
beer."
it.
He said,
Yeah.
"Hold." That was a hold my beer.
Hold my
moment.
beer moment.
It was a whole moment. Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
My
It
favorite
was-
part
perfect.
was when the moon started helping them by changing the gravity.
And and it was more embarrassing because the character says it out loud. She goes, "The moon is helping us." I was like, and somebody got paid to write this. too.
Right.
Yes, they did.
This
Oh,
is what
wow.
makes me
Scary,
think I
scary,
can be a
scary.
Hollywood writer.
I might as well.
All right. So where do we want to see Batman go
In space.
as fans?
Batman
Batman in space.
So I've been very outspoken.
Oh,
I want
Space
that
Hunter?
family. I want that family. I want the
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
there. I want in whatever capacity that you want them there. That is the next place he needs to go, and at least in a movie capacity. People need to know about Jason Todd. They need to know about Nightwing. They need to know about Cassandra Cain. They need to know about Stephanie Brown. All of them. I want all the kids to show up in the
Hell
films
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
I just
you know
want-
what? I do think that Nightwing should have his own gig. I mean, I
Yes.
really do.
It's
Titans.
no movie, but there's got to be some crossover because his origin is so connected to Batman. I feel
Oh,
like
for
they-
sure.
They should give Dick Grayson his outing because he's such a fantastic character. He's
Yes.
been with the
Oh, yeah.
franchise almost as
Ron
long
is
as
Team
Batman.
Nick.
I'm
Wow.
Team Dick.
Does anybody watch Titans?
I
I
do.
do.
Okay.
You know, I enjoyed what's his name, Brendan Thwaites or whatever, the guy, the actor. I thought he did a good job as the character.
I like
the-
the first 3
The
seasons.
writing was kind of hit or miss from time to time.
Yeah, I
but
haven't watched
Yeah.
the last season yet, but like
Yeah, the last season
those
kind
are-
of.
that's some good depiction of Dick and Jason and Tim. Like
Yeah, it was perfect.
I want more Tim.
Speaking of Tim, wait, you'll love this.
Hey. Isn't that Thomas?
Yeah. Isn't
Oh
that
yeah,
Tom?
you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's his dad.
That's his daddy.
Also a good character.
Dad, Papa.
But
I mean, I can't wait to see Damian Wayne on the screen. Honestly, I love me some Jerk Robin.
I
think
just
it's
love it if
great.
somebody hits him. That's all I want. Just hit that little shit. I mean, but again, it's good writing because you're supposed to not like Damien. But still, it was just like every time I see his little face, I'm just like,
I'm just gonna get
if I had a
To a
belt.
point, though. Did you read
Like
the
Death in the
Batman and
Family.
Robin run when Dick Grayson was Batman and he was Robin, and he really
Yeah.
kind of grew a lot as a character and became much more endearing?
that's the thing I want to see. I want to see
Yeah.
that version. I think we're gonna get the Bruce and Damien version in the upcoming movie, but I really would love to see the Dick and Damien version because they have a brother dynamic that is very very interesting.
Yeah.
Big brother, little brother. Oh god, that was such a good
Yeah, I
comic.
think-
If you have not read it,
I'm just
you
kind of
really
hoping
ought to.
they don't do the whichever version in the comics where she date raped Batman. I was like, I still haven't
Yeah.
forgotten that because I was so angry just because I was a Talia fan when I was a kid, and so when I grew up and I saw that, I was like, you've got to be kidding! It just soured me on
At
the
least
character.
they got her right as far as casting her Middle Eastern wise. You know, as far as that's concerned.
They
That
got
was
one.
cool.
One out of how many? No, I
All
think
right. Well, that is
we're
right.
done.
That is us.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately,
hey.
man,
We've
that
been talking
time
about Batman
flew
all day.
by. Batman Part 2 coming soon.
I mean,
All right.
Batman
Any parting
Family
thoughts?
Sequel? Batman Family?
Yeah.
A Batman Family sequel?
Yeah.
I think it should be like a wish list Batman's. Because
Yeah,
I've
my
got some
favorite
pretty
villain is Court of
outlandish
Owls.
wishes.
One of mine is I
Court of
still
Owls.
want Clayface. I want Clayface so
Yes.
bad because we have the technology to make that shape shifting look so good now, and that's just what I'm dying for. Of like whether I have to sit through sparkly Batman or not, I just want Clayface at some point. That's just
I
what I
agree.
want.
Sparkly.
And I think the animated series for that needs to be required reading for whoever
Yes.
is writing, directing,
Mhm.
acting. They got to do that.
Why don't they do that? Why
I
don't
know.
why don't they do that? The writers need to be comic book writers or the animated show writers.
Just go consult. They don't even have to hire them. Consult with them. Have one sit down where you guys just do whatever notes that you need for the characters. Just sit there with the Timverse people and talk it out, and then you go ahead and you write the script because they know what they're doing.
Please.
Marvel does that now, but and hopefully James Gunn
This
is
is
going to
not
do
a
the same
Marvel
with DCU.
episode.
I have hope for James. I mean, I really do.
I have faith in James.
But
Gunn.
if I watch another crappy DC movie, I will give up on the franchise completely.
Oh, so I
Don't
guess you're
go
not
see
watching
Aquaman
Aquaman
Says
too?
that. He says that.
Did we just
Unless
get
they come
a
out with a
Aquaman
Batman
new
movie.
joke?
Yeah, there was an
All right.
Aquaman 2 joke. Is it? Did they can it?
No,
No,
right.
it's
Oh my
happening,
god.
but I
So
don't
that
know.
was the other part that was funny. So before they dropped the trailer, like maybe a couple days before, there was this massive rumor that they lost the footage. And that was a
Awesome.
very funny day for me because I just started laughing. I was like, out of all the cursed things that have happened to the DC films, if they had actually lost that footage, I don't think you would ever. That's an embarrassment that would echo for decades if they had actually lost it.
I really hope they do.
No, they didn't, and that's what I think. But what I'm saying is, I think that's why
Please.
they dropped the
Please
trailer
do.
because they went, "Oh God, there's this rumor that we lost it, so we better drop footage, or people are gonna think it's gone."
All right. Well, tune in next time. Same bat time and same bat channel, just like Albino said in the chat. I'd like to really extend my most heartfelt thanks to you guys. Kyoko, you amaze us. You are so entertaining and funny, and I've got to read your books now. Now that I know your personality and of course it's going to come through on your pages. And I'm
it
an avid
certainly
reader.
will. You'll be happy. There are nerd references hidden all over the place in my manuscripts. I have no idea if people see them, but I sneak them in everywhere.
Well, if you come to Con Carolinas this year, which you can go to concarolinas.org and get your tickets right now, and fall I think is still good for a promo code if you guys want promo codes. But if you come to Con Carolinas, I always take an author and I buy pretty much their library, and I have them sign them. And I've done it with Darren Kennedy. I've done it with so many different people. Chris Jackson. Every year I go, I do that. So please, please, please come. I hope you've filled out your guest application and are coming. Atlanta's only a short hop, skip and a jump away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Ryan came from New York, and
Yeah.
he went.
It's a
He's
good
gonna come
time.
again. It's a great con. So
Yes.
please come. And regardless, I'm gonna buy all your books. So
Thank you. Oh, thank you for having me.
But-
It's been wonderful.
I don't know that we put you in the chat, but give us your socials real quick.
Sure.
people
So
can
I
get it.
am at Miss Kyoko M on Twitter and on Instagram. And then if you look up Facebook, it's shewhowritesmonsters.com. That's my page.
SheWhoWritesMonstrous.com.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
Ryan, how do we get a hold of you? What are your socials?
You send up a bat signal, and I'll be there.
Clever.
It's Ryan's bad idea pretty much anywhere.
Okay.
they're
Ryan's
often
bad
bad
idea.
Yeah.
All right. And Nick, thank you for helping out. And you're a wonderful co-host. And
I'm
I
so
love you
happy.
dearly. All right. Well, that's it for us. And yeah, peace out. We love you. And rock on. Long live the bat.